What really inspires me about fairy tales is fairy tales are magical and they can inspire someone to have good morals. They can inspire someone to live life with hope and inspiration, which is something that we need in our everyday lives.
I don't know, I've always loved fairy tales ever since I was a kid. I think when I was younger I always looked up to the princess, but at the same time my favourite character would always be the one lurking in the background. So not necessarily the witch, but I don't know, one of those secondary characters which you don't really often see come out and be rescued by heroes or something.
I've always liked magic. Yeah, so fairy tales are pretty awesome and there's always magic in fairy tales, so that's something that is really fun.
I suppose a lot of my writing deals with the roles that people play, and fairy tales really tie into that, given that they're so archetypal and stereotypical, and that there's these stories that have been around for so long and that everyone seems to know. So that's really interesting to delve into, and also just the general atmosphere of fairy tales I find very exciting and interesting, and something that I want to explore.
I've only recently known fairy tales as an adult because I don't come from, Western culture. So a lot of it is still very magical for me, and it's still very, I'm just starting to get into them, and I think with the very modern twists of fairy tale, I've gotten pretty excited about it.
What inspires me most is actually how they can be subverted and the stereotypes that we can push against, because ultimately nowadays stereotypes are very old-fashioned and quite constricting. So I love it when you, especially with Disney and Pixar, will take a fairy tale, and this musical in particular will take a fairy tale story and subvert it or push through some more modern ideas.
I really like the gruesome origins of most of them.
Yeah.
I think that's really amazing. I know the whole kind of point of this show is, the kind of real life and fairy tale, the juxtaposition of both of them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really cool considering how most of them are really gruesome and have these terrible endings, and they end up kind of, smoothed out for kids.
I like the characters and the different adventures they go on, the highs and the lows, and how it all turns out.
This is coming from a musician point of view. Whenever you watch a fairy tale that's animated, there's always a symphony orchestra that's setting the mood.
Excellent.
And the thing I love most is that the music can just depict a scene so well. It can make something shrill, it can make something warm and comfortable or dark.
The beauty about fairy tales is the escapism involved. It just transforms you to a different place, and I think everybody needs that every now and then from their day-to-day lives, just to get away from reality and go into a different realm altogether, and that's what fairy tales, that's what's special about them.